So on to our survey and interview results. In Carrollton City Schools, center-based learning is in place. In the initial survey, it reflected a divided support for mastery learning, but the parents were supportive when the mastery learning allowed students who demonstrated mastery to move forward and to go more deeply into the subject area, or to venture into a topic of their own interest even. One parent remembered enthusiastically the times during which she could choose her own more esoteric research topics. But maybe because the parents surveyed had successful children, they see this as a way for their kids to progress more quickly and for their children to have a more meaningful educational experience. Teachers, however, feel mastery learning is really hard for them to manage, especially keeping kids on task. Differentiation also seems like a challenge for these teachers, and so mastery learning seems to overwhelm them even more. For customized learning, the majority of our respondents support it, but they're going to need to have some guidance as to how to implement it well. They all agree that allowing students to develop their own talents, interests, and strength, that's important. In terms of space, STEM labs are new to Carrollton City. Students cite lack of support personnel as a hindrance to project-based learning rather than classroom facilities or size. In terms of standard-based assessment and certifications, the county has a policy regarding expectations in place, but only 52% of respondents thought favorably about it. For standards-based student records, K through 3 have a report card that is a standard-based that has the ratings of does not meet, N, M for meets, and E for exceeds. And that's supported by most of the respondents. In interviews, parents, though, found it confusing because of the amount of educational jargon. But if college admissions would support it, they thought that standards-based assessment using portfolio artifacts would show a better picture of the student's abilities, and they see it as more realistic in the work world. In terms of the new roles, for the teachers, the facilitator role was embraced by students, teachers, parents, and administrators alike. One student said a teacher should be an expert in the subject, a facilitator of learning, project manager, and disciplinarian, but most of all, should be happy to doing what they're doing. This seems to indicate a shift in thinking away from the sage on the stage role that the industrial model of education advocated. Teachers report they are nervous and apprehensive about using project-based assessment rather than tests, but students think the students have more faith. They think that their teachers would be energized and enthusiastic. Above all, teachers need more time specifically to organize themselves, to plan and reflect. The biggest concerns are there are too many innovations happening at once in Carrollton City, that they have a huge number of students, and they feel a lack of support with training and overimportance of standardized testing. In terms of the new role of technology, almost all classrooms are equipped with 21st century technology tools like Promethean boards, ActiveVotes, Safari Montage video streaming tablets, state-of-the-art labs with drafting software. Training occurs for each new piece of equipment, but it is brief and sometimes occurs before the equipment actually arrives, so it doesn't give people a chance to play. They use a lot of technology for student data and parent access, and as well as data collection. The high school is also implementing a video conferencing options for homebound students or students attending the alternative school. As to be expected with technology, students view themselves as innovators, but most adults view themselves as merely competent with using technology. In interviews, this is an item of pride and importance to Carrollton City stakeholders, and it really helps their system helps their perception of their system as forward-thinking. The perception of the use of technology seems to differ between students and other stakeholders. What teachers perceive as often, students only view as being used sometimes. Using outside resources to replace in-class lectures, for example, could be an area of growth. The new role for parents, all stakeholders feel that parents have a say in their children's education and that they feel welcomed into the school and classroom to assist in the ways that suit them best, from administrative duties like filing and copying to tutoring one-on-one. Family nights at elementary and middle schools provide opportunities for them to participate in enrichment activities. PTVO provides another opportunity to make real decisions regarding the operations of the school. Currently, students are grouped by age, and it looks like it's going to stay that way. 67% of teachers oppose grouping kids by ability. In interviews, concerns for bullying happened because of the size differences. But 60% of students feel it would be beneficial. Teachers agree, however, that not all students should have to work at the same pace. There is huge support for multi-year mentoring. Students are, in fact, in the same homeroom throughout high school, which could provide opportunities for more of a mentoring situation. In terms of enjoyable learning, the district vision is to promote lifelong learners. They also provide real-world opportunities like the STEM program and Southwire Academy to increase this sense of enjoyment. Students believe that love for learning leads to better performance in the classroom, but only 79% of adult stakeholders agree. Self-directed learning happens mostly at the middle and high levels with electives. There are very strong vocational health occupations programs aimed at staying competitive and making new offerings to compete against the other counties around them. Habits of good learners are pretty well agreed upon: discipline and drive, desire, motivation to go beyond the surface learning. It's not seen by parents in the majority of students, but parents of gifted children saw that students who took advantages of offerings enjoyed learning a whole lot more. Students are enthusiastic about project-based learning, especially when given the prospect of designing their own learning to achieve state standards, but adults viewed this with nervousness and apprehension. Collaborative learning. Teachers are encouraged to include team-based learning in their classroom when feasible. STEM especially encourages this as the main mode of learning. With learning by doing, each year some 6th graders create a children's book for a kindergartner's class. Also, Southwire Academy provides real-life experiences for engineering students. For well-rounded development, CCS cares about offerings that develop the whole child. It's this level of service that keeps them competitive. In fact, they increased their enrollment by 140 students this past year, at the same time that other systems are losing students. In dealing with small learning communities, in 2012, a performance learning center will be opened at the junior high as an alternative academic environment. Parents and students have some level of choice when making requests for the type of teachers, of course not by name, for their children, that will work best with their children. Students can make choices for electives in the middle and high school. In terms of family services, social workers, guidance counselors, and school psychologists are available. Services for homeless and homebound students, after-school programs are also available as well. There is active service for the local food bank during homecoming. They are stocked with peanut butter, toilet paper, toothpaste, and other toiletries for an entire year based on the homecoming activities. In terms of the schools as learning cooperative, there is huge support for this by all respondents. Suggestions by those surveys including offering English and other foreign language lessons for parents, tutoring, seminars on parent issues, and classes on computer and computer-based skills.